In a small village, nestled among rolling green hills, lived a young man named Alex. His house was the smallest on the lane, with paint peeling like old skin and a roof that often leaked when the rain poured. Alex was kind, with a gentle smile and eyes that held a spark of hope, even though his life was hard. Every morning, before the sun fully woke up, he was already working. He tilled the soil in other people's gardens, carried heavy sacks of grain at the market, and fixed anything that was broken in the village. He worked from dawn until dusk, his hands rough and calloused, but the money he earned was barely enough to buy food for himself. Alex often looked up at the big, fancy houses on the other side of the village, houses with tall walls and bright, colorful flowers. He dreamed of a life where he didn't have to worry about the next meal, a life where he could help his family and live with a bit of comfort. He wished for something to change, for a chance, a door to open that would lead him out of his endless struggle. Little did he know, a very unexpected door was about to swing open for him. One sunny afternoon, while Alex was fixing a broken fence near the edge of the village, a grand, shiny carriage pulled by two black horses stopped close by. Out stepped a lady unlike anyone Alex had ever seen. She was very old, perhaps 70 years, but her skin was smooth, and her eyes sparkled with life. She wore a long, flowing dress that shimmered, and around her neck was a necklace that gleamed like a tiny sun. What truly surprised Alex were her arms. They were strong and muscled, like a blacksmith's, yet graceful. This was Matilda, known by many as the Slay Mama of the region. She was famous not just for her immense wealth and stylish clothes, but for her powerful presence. People said she owned half the businesses in the city nearby and could lift things most men couldn't. She walked with a confident stride, looking like a queen who owned the very ground she walked on. Matilda saw Alex, his face smudged with dirt, but his eyes full of earnestness. She smiled, a rare and bright smile, and in that moment, something shifted in Alex's quiet, hopeful world. After that first meeting, Matilda began to visit Alex often. She would come in her grand carriage, bringing him gifts of warm clothes and delicious food. She loved his kind heart and the honest way he worked. One afternoon, as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the village, Matilda looked at Alex with serious eyes. "Alex," she began, her voice soft but clear, "I want you to marry me." Alex's jaw dropped. He blinked, thinking he must have heard her wrong. Marry? Him? A poor boy with nothing but his dreams? Matilda, the rich and powerful Slay Mama? It was like a story from a faraway land. He was very surprised, almost too shocked to speak. But then he thought of his small, leaky house, of his hungry family, and of all the hard work that brought so little. Marrying Matilda meant an end to his struggles. It meant he could help his loved ones. It was a chance, a big, bright chance he never thought he'd get. Taking a deep breath, Alex looked into Matilda's kind eyes and said, "Yes, I will marry you." The wedding was like a dream. It was the fanciest party the village had ever seen, with music, delicious food, and flowers everywhere. Alex, dressed in a suit finer than anything he'd ever worn, felt a little shy but very happy. After they were married, Alex left his small, old house behind and moved into Matilda's mansion. It wasn't just a house, it was a castle. The mansion was huge, with more rooms than Alex could count. The floors gleamed, covered with soft rugs from faraway lands. Gold and silver ornaments sparkled on every table, and paintings with fancy frames hung on the walls. Everywhere he looked, there were expensive things he had only ever seen in pictures. He saw tall, shiny statues and big, soft couches that felt like sitting on clouds. What surprised him even more were the many servants, dressed in neat uniforms, quietly moving about, ready to help with anything. Alex felt like he had stepped into a different world, a world of endless comfort and wonder. Life in the mansion was certainly different, but Alex soon noticed it was also quite strange. Matilda was always kind to him, treating him with love and respect. Yet, there were parts of her life she kept hidden. One day, while exploring the vast house, Alex found a heavy, wooden door tucked away in a quiet hallway. He tried the handle, but it was locked tight. When he asked Matilda about it, her smile faded a little. "That room is private, my dear. No one, not even you, may enter it," she said firmly. This secret room was one puzzle. Another was Matilda's nightly routine. Every evening, just as the moon began to climb high in the sky, Matilda would get ready and leave the mansion. She would return much later, sometimes just before the sun rose, looking a little tired but always with a soft, content smile. She never said where she went, and Alex never asked, trying to respect her privacy. Still, these mysteries began to tickle Alex's mind, making him wonder what secrets his powerful wife truly held. As the days turned into a week, Alex's curiosity about Matilda's secrets grew stronger. He respected her privacy, but the locked room and her nightly trips made a small knot of worry tighten in his stomach. He started to watch her more closely, trying to find clues without being obvious. Then he noticed something else odd. Matilda always wore gloves. Not just fancy ones for parties, but even during breakfast or when reading a book. They were usually made of fine, soft leather, sometimes embroidered with tiny patterns. Alex realized he had never once seen her hands without them. One morning, he playfully tried to pull off a glove to see her hand, but Matilda quickly, almost sharply, pulled away, her eyes showing a flicker of something he couldn't quite name. Maybe fear, maybe annoyance. "My hands are sensitive to the morning air, dear," she said, forcing a smile. Alex felt a chill. This small detail, added to the other mysteries, made him even more eager to uncover the truth behind the powerful, yet secretive, Slay Mama. He knew he couldn't wait much longer. The mysteries of Matilda's life swirled in Alex's mind, making it hard for him to rest. He couldn't shake the feeling that something big was being kept from him. 7 days had passed since their wedding, 7 days of quiet wonder and growing questions. On this particular evening, as the clock chimed 9 times, Matilda kissed him goodnight and, as usual, left the mansion for her nightly journey. Alex waited, his heart thumping like a drum. He counted to 100 slowly, then slipped out of bed. The mansion was quiet, the servants having gone to their own rooms. He moved like a shadow through the grand hallways, past the sparkling statues and rich tapestries. His feet made no sound on the soft rugs. He reached the heavy, wooden door of the forbidden room, his breath catching in his throat. This was it. This was where he would find out what his powerful, mysterious wife was truly hiding. The air around the door felt colder, as if it guarded a secret from another world. He placed his hand on the cold wood, ready to find a way inside. Alex carefully felt around the heavy doorframe. He noticed a small, hidden button disguised as part of the wood carving. With a soft click, the lock released, and the door creaked open, revealing a room shrouded in shadow. He stepped inside, pulling the door shut behind him, plunging himself into a deeper mystery. The air inside was thick with a strange, earthy smell, like rich soil after a rainstorm, mixed with something sweet and green. Alex fumbled for a light switch, and when the room glowed, his eyes widened. This was no ordinary storage room. Strange machines, made of polished wood and shiny metal, stood in corners, humming softly. They looked like nothing he had ever seen, gears and tubes working together in mysterious ways. Shelves lined the walls, not with fancy decorations, but with countless very old books. Their covers were worn, their pages yellowed, filled with writing in languages Alex didn't know. There were also jars holding dried plants and glittering dusts. This was a place of secrets, a place of old magic and powerful knowledge, far removed from the grand halls of the mansion. Alex knew he was on the edge of a discovery that would change everything he thought he knew about Matilda. Among the dusty books on a tall shelf, Alex spotted one that looked different. It was bound in dark, worn leather with a metal clasp. When he opened it, he realized it wasn't a book of spells or strange languages, but a journal written in a clear hand. His hands trembled slightly as he began to read. The words on the yellowed pages told an incredible story, a story that made his heart pound with a mix of fear and wonder. Matilda had written it herself, detailing a life that stretched back further than any human could imagine. She wrote of ancient times, of people and places that no longer existed. The journal revealed that Matilda was not fully human. She was a being connected to the earth, gifted with a life that lasted not decades, but centuries. She had lived for hundreds of years, seeing kingdoms rise and fall, watching the world change around her. Her strength, her youthful looks at 70, her secret room, her nightly trips, it all began to make a terrifying, unbelievable sense. Alex stared at the journal, his mind reeling. His wife was an ancient, powerful being. The journal didn't just tell of Matilda's ancient life. It also explained how she kept her youthful looks and amazing strength. Page after page, Alex read about a rare, magical plant. This plant, glowing softly even on the parchment, grew only in special, hidden places deep within the earth. It was called the life bloom vine. Matilda wrote that its sap held the secret to her long life and powerful muscles. She harvested it with great care, using the strange machines in this very room to turn it into special potions. These potions not only kept her looking young, far younger than her true age of 70 years, but also gave her the incredible strength people whispered about. Alex understood now why her hands were always covered. Perhaps they were different, changed by the plant's magic, or perhaps they were just very important for her work. The earthy smell in the room was likely from the life bloom vine itself. The journal explained that she needed to visit these special places often to gather the plant, which shed light on her mysterious nightly outings. It was all connected, a powerful, natural magic that defied everything Alex knew about the world. As Alex continued to read the journal, his understanding of Matilda deepened even further. Her nightly trips weren't just for gathering the life bloom vine. They were part of a much bigger, more noble purpose. The journal told of an ancient, hidden forest, a place of immense beauty and powerful magic that was vital for the balance of nature. This forest was where the life bloom vine thrived, and it was also a place many greedy people sought to destroy for its rare plants or to build over its sacred ground. Matilda, with her incredible strength and ancient wisdom, was its protector. Every night, she would go to the forest, not just to collect her vital plant, but to stand guard. She used her powers, the very ones that kept her young and strong, to scare away loggers, miners, and anyone else who dared to harm the ancient trees and magical creatures living there. She was a silent guardian, a fierce defender of nature. Alex felt a wave of awe wash over him. His wife was not just a rich slave mama, but a hero, a guardian of something truly precious and vital to the world. Her secrets were not born of mischief, but of duty. Lost in the incredible tale of Matilda's life and duty, Alex didn't notice the time passing. The magical room felt safe, a world away from his old life. But then, a faint sound reached his ears, the distant crunch of carriage wheels on the gravel driveway, growing closer. Matilda was returning. Panic shot through him. He couldn't be found here. He quickly snapped the journal shut, carefully placing it back on the shelf among the other old books. With swift, silent movements, he returned the jars and any other items he had touched to their exact spots. He made sure the light was off, then gently, quietly closed the heavy wooden door, hearing the soft click of the hidden lock engaging once more. He crept back through the mansion, his heart still pounding, but now with fear of being caught. Slipping into their bedroom, he jumped into bed and pulled the covers up, pretending to be deeply asleep. But his mind was wide awake, racing with the unbelievable secrets he had just uncovered. He lay there, eyes closed, listening as Matilda's soft footsteps finally entered the room, his world forever changed. The next morning, the sun streamed through the mansion windows, but to Alex, everything felt different. He sat at the breakfast table, watching Matilda across from him, sipping her tea. Her grand clothes, her strong hands in their ever-present gloves, her calm smile, they all took on new meaning. He felt a shiver of fear, a natural reaction to such an extraordinary discovery. How could he be married to someone so ancient, so powerful, so unlike himself? But with the fear came a deep surge of respect. He thought of her centuries of life, her tireless protection of the hidden forest, her lonely vigil against those who would harm nature. She wasn't just a rich lady. She was a guardian, a force of nature herself. His view of her had completely changed. She was no longer just this slave mama from the village tales, but a being of immense wisdom and courage. The image of her, secretly defending the magical forest night after night, filled him with awe. He wondered how he could ever act normal again, knowing her incredible truth. As Alex sat at breakfast, trying to act normal, he couldn't hide the change in his eyes. He tried to focus on his food, but every time he looked up, his gaze lingered on Matilda, seeing the ancient protector beneath the elegant lady. Matilda, with her centuries of experience and keen senses, noticed it right away. She didn't need words to know. Her calm, kind smile remained, but her eyes, deep and knowing, met his. There was a flicker in them, a tiny spark of understanding that passed between them without a single word being spoken. It was as if she saw into his very soul and knew he had unlocked her secrets. She didn't look angry or scared or even surprised. Instead, there was a quiet acceptance, a hint of something ancient and patient. She simply held his gaze for a moment longer than usual, a knowing look that said, "I know you know." Then, she gently returned to her tea, the silence between them now filled with unspoken truths. Alex felt a mix of relief and nervousness. The secret was out, at least to him, and she knew it. As the morning passed, Alex thought about everything. The fears slowly faded, replaced by a powerful feeling. He realized that the love he felt for Matilda had grown beyond her wealth and the comfort she offered. He loved her for her long, incredible life, for her quiet strength, and most of all, for her secret mission to protect the ancient forest. This powerful, selfless purpose made her even more amazing in his eyes. He looked at her, truly seeing her for the first time, not as a rich old woman, but as a wise, ancient being dedicated to something grander than himself. He felt a deep connection to her, a shared secret that bound them closer than any wedding vow. In his heart, Alex made a promise. He would keep her secret safe, always. It wasn't just her secret. It was a part of who she was, a sacred trust he now shared. He would be her husband, her partner, and her silent confidant, helping her in any way he could, even if it meant simply being there for her as she continued her ancient duty. From that day forward, Alex and Matilda's life together changed. The grand mansion was still their home, and Matilda was still the powerful slave mama to the world, but between them, there was a new, deeper understanding. No words were needed. Alex understood her purpose, and Matilda, with her knowing gaze, knew he understood. He became her quiet helper. He couldn't go with her to the ancient forest, but he found other ways to support her. He learned about the special plants she needed, helping to keep her secret room tidy and making sure her tools were ready. Sometimes, he would research old maps, looking for hidden paths or signs of danger near the forest. He became her silent partner, making sure her important work could continue smoothly. He no longer felt like a poor boy simply living in a rich woman's house. He felt like a true husband, sharing in a vital, secret life. Their bond became stronger, woven with ancient magic and a shared, silent duty. Alex, once a poor boy dreaming only of comfort, found something far greater than money could buy. He had a grand mansion, fine clothes, and delicious food. Yes, but his true happiness came from the shared secret, the quiet understanding that now existed between him and Matilda. He no longer felt like a simple villager, but a part of something ancient and important. His life had purpose, not just in living well, but in supporting his extraordinary wife in her noble quest. He watched Matilda with a loving heart, knowing she was a guardian, a force for good in the world. He was proud to be her husband, to share in her long, magical life and her nightly adventures, even if he only helped from afar. The boy who married for a better life had found a richer one, filled with wonder, respect, and a love that grew from the deepest, most unexpected secret. Alex finally understood that true wealth was not in gold, but in the extraordinary bond he shared with his slave mama, the ancient protector.